Have you ever wondered to yourself, why am I not manifesting in ways that I think that I should manifest? And what are some of the blockages that's stopping me? Now, that's a very heavy, very loaded question. And we won't be getting into the metaphysical today. We'll only be getting into one of the major factors. And that major factor is credit. I'm going to be explaining to you how I was able to take my credit and then leverage it, flip it, and then use it as an asset to then achieve and buy 20 acres of land. Let's delve into it. So when I was around 22 years of age, I started building up my credit. And I'm in my late 30s now, well, around mid 30s, but I started to build up my credit. I didn't know anything about credit. And quite frankly, I never learned about credit. I know that many of you haven't done the same as well, because this educational system is not meant to educate us. The banks are obviously looking to work with the educational system. They prefer many of us to be, or at least to start off with bad credit, because that allows the banks to be able to charge high interest rates on the loans, etc. Many of you don't know much about credit. I made a very serious effort to say, well, I want to be a person who has a very high credit score. I was able to get my credit scores up to around an 830 by 30 years of age. So that is extremely high, especially for someone being as young as I am. So this is what I did to manifest and essentially purchase 20 acres of land. Now, I built my credit, some furniture. And when I got furniture from there, and I will never do that again, but I need to finance something to build up my credit. I was paying it off, very high payments. I paid twice as much as what the furniture cost, and that really first infuriated me, but I did it anyway. And from there, after I got some furniture that I was financing, then I ended up getting a few credit cards, okay? And I got several credit cards, and from there, I was paying my credit cards on time. I would suggest that if you don't have auto pay, do auto pay, set your credit cards up that way, but make sure to pay it below 10% every single month so you don't have to pay the additional interest. So I got seven or so credit cards over a period of time. Then from there, I ended up getting a vehicle. Okay, so by I had always had money. So the vehicles that I had purchased them in full. I had a motorcycle, I had a truck, two trucks actually, in one car, but I ended up selling all those. I didn't really want them anymore. But from that point, I financed the vehicle, which I love the vehicle a lot. And this was in 2014. I got a brand new vehicle. And from there, I was paying the vehicle off. And as I'm paying the vehicle off, I had my furniture, I had my credit cards. And so I'm just establishing and building credit from there. And as I'm doing it, my credit scores are constantly increasing. And after a period of time, after maybe like 2 or 3 years, I got married in 2014. Now, when I got married in 2014, what happened was I was working at an engineering firm. I do other things, other trades that I'm very good at. But I was working at an engineering firm, and my supervisor, he lied over a period of several years. He was telling me I was a contractor, but I was working as if I worked for the actual company. So from there, my supervisor, he was telling me, hey, we're gonna bring you on full time. You're an excellent worker, all these type of things. And he ended up lying, and he waited to around 2 weeks before my wedding date to lay me off. So he was strategically, this is a Caucasian, he was strategically waiting for me to, because he was trying to discourage me from getting married and all type of stuff. He was miserable, going through his own personal issues with his fiance at the time. And so he ended up laying me off. He had the corporate office, he was just saying all kind of things, very insecure in himself. And when he did that, they just had no other reason but to accept his word, because quite frankly, we were in a different branch, in a different state than the corporate office. So they just followed what he said and laid me off 2 weeks before my wedding. Now, when that happened, I had to go to an entirely different state, go to Delaware, and then bring my wife back. I was unemployed, but I need to make a way. Now, at the time, what happened was, because of me being unemployed, being 24 years old, that caused a lot of stress, because now I have a new wife and I'm not even working. This person intentionally tried to destroy my life by intentionally waiting 2 weeks before my wedding to then lay me off, and they knew that 6 months in advance. So they knew when I was going to get married. Okay, so that caused my credit to just be utterly destroyed. Okay, so at that point, because in terms of my car note, I was also paying for her car as well. She had a vehicle, brand new vehicle as well. I went ahead and assumed the note. I was paying all of her bills, everything that she had, I was paying all of it. And at 24 years of age, and when that happened, obviously I had to make some things move and shake, right? So my credit got destroyed. I was back down. I started off in the low fives. I had no credit established when I first started, as most of you are. And then from there, I had my scores up to, in around a year and a half or so, I think I was around 680, 690 in 2014, but it dropped down to like a 580 or so. So I had like collection accounts, late payments, and all that type. Now from there, what happened was, I said, you know what? I'm going to get my credit scores back up. So I just began researching. I was looking up, and I said, you know what? I need to learn this credit system. So I began to study federal laws. I began to study the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, Fair Credit Reporting Act, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and literally the Better Business. I was just studying so much about federal laws, because I need to know, how am I going to navigate this particular matrix and get my scores up so I can live the life that I truly desire. Now we're leading up to the 20 acres. Now, so I ended up disputing my negative items, and I had so much stress at the time. I was very young. I was in another state. I had I had some support from a few brothers, but in terms of family support, I didn't have that. In terms of just in my direct or close proximity. However, I wanted to make things happen, so I did it. Now, fast forward, I was working, making pretty good money and everything. And around 2016, I want to start getting into real estate, building my real estate portfolio. I have a good credit score around 2016. My scores were, so I built my scores. I was around 790 in 2016. And I'm going to start my invest in real estate, but I didn't know much about real estate, so I had to study that as well. I didn't know hardly anything. Now, fortunately for me, and that's why it's good for you, I had a brother who was already in real estate. He didn't know anything about credit. He knew how to buy real estate and things like that. He didn't know anything about credit, which is what I helped him with, and we'll discuss that in another video. But so he began to teach me about just the basics of real estate. So I would ride around with him, and he would just say, this is what I'm doing, this is how I'm doing it, etc. So that's why it's good to have friends who are doing things and not friends who are just talking about nothing. You want people who are producers and people who can give you something, and obviously you are supposed to be a friend as well and give them something in return, because if you don't do that, then you're not a real friend. You know, real friends, how that synergy work is, it's a give and take. You give, you take, you give, you take, you take, you give, and that's how things work, and you move forward and you help each other. Okay, so 2016, at that time, my credit was really good. I was close to 800. I was trying to figure out, how can I get it to 800? I was around 780, 790, I think around 785 or so. I said, you know what? I'm going to get my scores up to, just for bragging rights, above an 800. Not to brag to anybody, because really no one even knew my scores was around 800 except me and my wife. But I just wanted that for just personal, be proud of myself. So I was working on that. It took me a little time. But in 2016, this is when I said, you know what? I know what it feels like to have so much stress when it comes to credit. and having these high interest rates and paying so much and being drained financially. So I said, you know what? I am going to help others do what I've done. Now, that's not necessarily the start of it, but that was the idea. But in 2015, 2014, give or take, the Honorable Minister Farrakhan told us to make our communities a decent and safe place to live. So what I said was, I took that as an order. And I said, you know what? The reason I believe that many of our communities are not in the shape that they need to be is because we lack ownership, or we lacked ownership at the time. So I said, I want to provide a solution for our people and help clean up our communities. And that is by allowing for our people to be able to have home ownership. Okay. And now this was really for any communities, but in particular my community, because we needed it and we still do need it to this day. So we're still working on it, but we're thankful to God that we do see progress over time. Now, 2015, make your communities a decent, safe place to live. 2016, I said, you know what? I'm going to figure out a way to do it, but I don't know how. What can I offer to people that I have experience in? So through maybe like 2 weeks, I was working, I was meditating and everything. And the idea came in mind, which was credit healing, because we need a healing, not just with our credit, but just personally or throughout every aspect of our lives. So I started credit healing in 2016, actually December 2016. January 1st, 2017, this is when I launched Credit Healing LLC. So I began to sell the packages, but I was coaching people and teaching people how to build the credit. They were asking me questions, and I was just helping people along the way. Many of you who have been following me, you are beneficiaries, and you have reaped the benefits of what we have done. And I'm sure that many of you will comment in the comment section and say that we helped you, as we've always been receiving in our videos. So we greatly appreciate you trusting us to help you achieve the goals that you desire in life. So now, from that point, 2017, I said, you know what? I'm going to launch this company, leave the corporate world, just leave all that behind. I'm going to build my boat, drive it across the seas. I'm going to reach an island, and I'm going to say, look, I'm going to burn this boat, and I'm going to stay on this island and build this. There is no plan B. There's only a plan A. And so since then, that's what we've been doing. Now, so we started credit healing in 2017. In 2018 is when I decided to get into real estate. Okay, I believe it was 2018. So what caused me to be, or allowed me to be able to get to 20 acres is first that I invested in real estate. Okay, my first multifamily unit was a duplex. I was 26 years of age, and I bought my first multifamily unit. And then I was staying in one unit, according to the FHA, that I need to stay in one unit for at least a year, and then from that point I can move out. So I stayed in that one unit for 1 year. I bought my property through my company, Credit Healing. So I had to do a conventional loan. Okay, it's actually a conventional loan. So I had to put like 20% down on the property, just because I'm a business owner, and then other factors as well. So I ended up getting the property. So just know that when you do purchase your first property, I want you to know this, that you will experience a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. There's a very dark area that you don't know about. You're concerned, but then once you close, you just, all that just lifts off your shoulders, and you just feel so relieved. So for those of you who are looking to purchase a home, listen, go to www.credithealing.org and we will help you. So now, from that particular point, I purchased my first real estate property in 2018. So multifamily unit, I stayed there for a year. I rented out the top one, then I stayed in the bottom one. And then after I moved out, after that particular time, within 1 year, almost exactly, I said, I'm going to move out, and I moved out to another unit. Then I rented out both of them. So I have two streams of income. It's paying off the mortgage. I have my business that's flourishing. I have money coming in. I have also other investments that I invested in, not like really major investments, but however, I just did have, when I was at that time, I made sure to have multiple streams of income. because that's obviously important. And so I'm giving you the story as it relates to what led me to purchase the 20 acres of land. And so, but that wasn't necessarily the other stream of income, wasn't necessarily what caused it. It was that I had the multi-family unit, which is considered obviously an asset. And then I also had my income from credit healing. And so I was able to leverage that. So from that point, and I said, when COVID happened, I said, I need to move out. I need to move my family away from just the hustle and bustle from the inner cities, all the stuff that's going on. I don't know what this is going to look like. So I decided that I am going to move out and just, again, sail my boat, not knowing anything about landscaping, land management. I said, I'm going to learn all that on the fly. So that's what I did. So after that, I think maybe like 1 or 2 years after I purchased the first property, I think it was maybe 2 or possibly 3, but again, sometimes my dates can be a little bit off. Nonetheless, so I ended up purchasing, I went through the process. I contacted a realtor. I made a Facebook post and I said, is there anyone who knows a realtor who can help someone buy land in this particular area? And so someone on Facebook, he tagged someone that he knows, very, very great, very wonderful sister. And so she helped me along the way. It was fantastic. And so what I did was having an 800 credit score, as well as having multifamily unit where I had different streams of income, as well as being able to have my own business, that allowed it to be a very easy transition, especially your credit. Now, they're going to look at your debt to income ratio, make sure that you don't have any outstanding debt and that you can afford the monthly mortgage payment. However, what's important is that your credit is in the right place, because that's what the underwriters are going to look at. They're going to look to see if your credit is right. You need at least a 670 or so, I would say. But the higher your scores are, the lower your interest rates will be, which is going to reduce your mortgage payments. So that's what I would highly recommend for those of you who are trying to make moves. So after I purchased my 20 acres of land in my house, I went to renovating, doing different things on it. I currently, on my land, I have a pond on it. I have a greenhouse that I built, and I just have other things on it. So these are dreams and visions that you can also achieve. Okay? You can do this too. You just have to have a clear idea of what you want, and you want to move out every single day knowing that what you desire has already happened. So it's not necessarily about praying for what you want. You want to work and pray without ceasing. Pray without stopping. And what I mean by that is hold the vision in your mind, be thankful, have gratitude, and move out on it. The things that you need to do to get there, the hurdles that you need to jump over, you need to get those taken care of. And here with credit healing, we will help you, okay, every step of the way. But we need for you to be proactive, because as we are helping you along the way, there are things that you will have to do. You won't be sending out any dispute letters or anything like that. We're going to help you achieve the goals that you have within a 6-month time period, okay? So instead of you waiting, trying to figure it out in 3.5 years, you're still in the same place, sign up for our services. You can actually sign up for our 15-minute consultation. And listen, I've done it. I've manifested it. But I don't just want to do it myself. I've been helping many people do it themselves. I've been helping many people achieve their dreams. And that's what we're about. We're not just dream chasing, but dream achieving. And so we love you. And we want for you to be able to do the things that you want to do in life, because quite frankly, it's your birthright. All right, family. So you all be blessed. And listen, let's get started. Do not procrastinate. Don't have fear. Okay. And that's the last thing. You should fear nothing except God. I know people say I feel none but God, but many of us have too many fears, and those fears are just simply illusions. Don't allow those illusions to hinder your progress and your achievements in life, because those are the things that you desire, and those are things that God wants for you, because God wants to live through you. Okay, God wants to experience the blessings in life through his creation. That's why he made us. He made us because he lives in us, and he has manifested his ways in us. We are not the Almighty. However, we are God's, as Psalms 82:11 says. Ye are all God, children of the Most High God. Okay? So you can do this. Stop procrastinating. Stop waiting. The time is now. And achieve the goals that you want by signing up at www.credithealing.org. Peace.
In 30 days.
100 points within.
This is what I got for instant approval.
Here and give a testimonial about credit.